I left.
My daughter with me, and we got there about 3 o'clock.
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah, we got one. Yeah. We had stuff to do all morning, and so I'm like, well, honey, let's run over there real quick. And as soon as we got done, and I actually talked to one of the planners, and he's like, oh, yeah, we were having a
North Phoenix, September up to 17th session.
I love that.
If you have food, just continue to enjoy your dinner. I call this meeting of the Goodyear 2025 General Plan Committee to order. Will everyone stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Normally at this time I would take a roll call, but as we have a sign-in sheet and I was contacted with members that could not be here tonight, I'll just give you their names and ask for a motion that they be excused. They do have good excuses. One person's out of the country, another one's having car trouble in the middle of nowhere, Arizona, and I forget the third one's trying to get a flight back, but it hasn't been easy. What did I do with 3 names? I had it here, I promise. Katie, there they are. No, this is last time. Do you have those names? The 3?
Yes, Eduardo Borquez, Phyllis Hartwick, and Gerald Wilson.
Okay, do I hear a motion to excuse them? We knew Phyllis wouldn't be here. She told us the very first meeting, so, and the other 2 are having problems. Do I hear a motion to excuse them?
So moved.
I'll make that move.
Seconded? Okay, they are excused. Are there any comments on the minutes from the October 9th, 2012 meeting? Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes? Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of October 9th, 2012 meeting of the General Plan Committee?
So moved.
Estelle, do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. This is an open call to the public to give an opportunity for the public to address the Goodyear 2025 General Plan Committee on an item listed on today's agenda or a subject that's not on the agenda. Public comment is encouraged. Please complete a speaker card listing the subject you would like to discuss. Unless otherwise permitted by the chair, each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Before you begin to speak, identify yourself by clearly stating for the record your name and address. And we have 2 speaker cards. The first one, Joe Husband.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I would, if I can certainly make comments now, I was interested in commenting on item number 7, which is the transportation parks plan.
Okay.
I can make my comments now, or I can make them at that
Let's hold that till, because we do have meeting procedures that Leslie's going to go over. So when we get to number 7, I'll call your name again, okay?
Mr. Chair, can we were going to propose tabling the discussion on the transportation plan and parks plan to the next meeting. We're just not ready to discuss the plans yet because the consultants haven't been fully brought on board yet. So I'd recommend that maybe they would like to make their comments now because we don't have a formal presentation for the committee.
Okay, would you like to make your comments now?
Yeah, certainly.
Because we're going to
In that
take.
case, my name's Joe Husband. I'm the airport manager at Phoenix Goodyear Airport, 1658 South Ridgefield Road. And, of course, we have an interest in the general plan for the city of Goodyear, just as the city of Goodyear had an participation in our airport master plan. So I'm here sort of representing the airport interests, and we'll try to be as involved as the chairman and the committee would think it's appropriate. And also just to reaffirm that it's our great pleasure to, operate the airport within the city of Goodyear. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joe. I will tell you, at the workshop, visioning workshop that we had, there was a lot of conversation about how the airport can be a vital part of our future, and we need to take more advantage of what we have there. So we look forward to doing it. Peter Behrman?
Excuse me. I was also going to talk about 7, but since there's not going to be a 7, I just really wanted to come. My name is Peter Behrman, Bear like the bear paints,
Okay.
B-E-H-R. I'm new. My address is 17536 West Redwood Lane. And I'm actually in Cantamea with Pepe or Jose, as some of you call him. And we talked, and he asked me to come down here. I moved here 2 months ago. I'm the former executive director of the Transit Authority in Birmingham, Alabama. My background is planning and public transportation, and a number of people have talked to me about your process. I've gone through this many times in my professional career.
Okay.
Now that I'm temporarily retired, I hope to work again soon, but here. And I wanted to offer my services to help you all as much as I can. I've done both planning on AICP. I'm also a transit manager, and I've developed transit plans for cities. So that if Goodyear wants to look down the road at the transportation plan, how you would integrate public transit. I noticed on the agenda it talked about integrating transportation in your general plan. That's what I've done since my thesis years ago. I won't tell you how long ago. The term today is transit-oriented development. We called it joint development many years ago. But it's the same concept. To make sure that you design your community so that say, paratransit, which are the small vans, which as this area has a high senior population, and I know Ryan is too, and as we get older, we're going to all need paratransit. And developments are built with very few access points, which makes it almost impossible. So as you go through the planning process, please keep in mind that you've got to be transit friendly. And as I say, I will be available, and Pepe knows, or Jose, I don't know how to get a hold of me, and I talked to Katie, and I'm going to give her my information. But I would love to help you folks as much as I can.
We would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Are there any other cards? If there are no more speaker cards, at this time we'll receive a presentation from Leslie Dornfeld on meeting procedures.
Hey everyone, good to see you again. This really isn't going to be much of a presentation, more of just just let you know to take note of something that you'll have under your agenda packages. At our last meeting, someone asked us about Robert's Rules of Order. I don't want to put you all to sleep, but what I did was find a quickie cheat sheet for Robert's Rules. And what this really does is explain quickly how they work, but really what Robert's Rules of Order are, a way of running a meeting. And someone was, I think, more curious about when do we say, make a motion, second, adjourn, all of those kinds of things. The back page is a list. It's called Parliamentary Procedures at a Glance. And it's a fun little toy. It's a great cheat sheet. So what you do is you look down the left column to do this if you want to, for example, end a debate. So let's say someone is just talking on and on and on, which I know would never happen and something I never do. Right, there you go. So Todd, why don't you demonstrate? End the debate.
I'd like to make a motion, we end the discussion
So
about the
in order
motion.
to do that is you say, I moved the previous question, or I called a question. And at that point in time, the chair would then stop the debate or the discussion and move forward, say, there's a motion on the table, do we want to vote on it, up or down? What's nice about this is it tells you if you can interrupt to make the motion. It tells you if you need a second. It tells you if someone can debate the motion, and what kind of a vote is required. As I said many times before, I'm going to try to make as much, we want this to be as much of a consensus as possible. But it's a fun toy, I think, and it's good in case you want it for other meetings.
Thank you, Leslie.
Probably the other thing I wanted to call to your attention, sorry, Katie, I almost forgot that, was at the back of your package, you'll also see, which I think is way more important, the meeting guidelines you developed as a committee at your last meeting. And, Katie and I have been talking. I don't necessarily think we need to go through them at every meeting, but I think they're nice to just maybe take a look at, and maybe if the discussion is getting too long or frustrating, or you feel like you're not being heard, let's take a look at these, and maybe we could use these as well. So there's a summary on the last page of your handout.
And I just wanted to add to that, no, it's fine. It's somewhat related. Can you pass that over? I'm going to pass around a document, and it's just another helpful guide to the different types of city documents we deal with. We'll probably be throwing around terms like the city charter and city code and zoning ordinance. And so this is just a little guide for those of you who might not be as familiar with what those are. Just a little quick 101 on that. And then on the back side is a list of the current plans that I know that are out there. And as we start going through topics, we'll start giving you information about these plans, but that's just a little FYI about some of the plans that affect the city that are out there. There's an entire page just from thinking about it today.
And at this time, we'll receive a presentation from Katie Wilkin on liaisons to the General Plan Committee.
Thank you, Chair. When we originally set up this committee, last time we updated the general plan, we actually had members of our Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council sit on the committee. We received advice from our legal department this time that could actually be an open meeting violation by having a planning and zoning commissioner or a city council person vote on something that goes back to their board for voting. However, it's really important to keep both of those groups involved in this process. And so we had a discussion with the Planning and Zoning Commission at their last meeting about how to do that. And we thought of the idea of designating a liaison. And Vicki Hamilton is back there, wave, from our Planning and Zoning Commission. So she's here tonight. And basically at every Planning and Zoning Commission, they're going to kind of designate someone to be at the next meeting. We also discussed the fact that it'd be great to get our Youth Commission involved in this group. So we don't need a formal vote on this, but I just wanted a general consensus if the group is okay with having someone from our Planning and Zoning Commission and our Youth Commission participating in discussion and being here at these meetings. They would not have a vote when you come to voting, but when you do exercises, they might be able to go ahead and jump in and participate just like you guys can. So, I mean, I'm seeing nodding of heads. Does anyone have a concern with that? Okay, so then we'll let the, did someone?
We make a motion to accept the proposal to have a liaison.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion to?
Knock that thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I hear a motion, Jose?
I move
To accept-
motion to accept the proposal to have a liaison from the Planning Commission and the Youth.
And Youth
Youth Commission.
Commission. Yes. Do I hear a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. It has been passed.
Thank you. All right.
And now we're going to have Leslie Dornfeld and Katie Wilkin give us a presentation on visioning. Can I see a show of hands of all the board members that were at the visioning workshop? You can the rest of you get an idea on who was there. I'd just like to real briefly say it was one of the best workshops I'd ever been to. And a good way to tell that is most of the people stayed till the very end, even after lunch. So that says a lot about the program that Leslie and Katie put together, and Maurice Scott helped, the city clerk. So we had a lot of good ideas come in from the public, as well as ideas we came up with ourselves. So if you have the opportunity in the future to go to either a workshop or an open house, please do so, because the more information we get as individuals, the better committee we'll make in the long run. Okay, Leslie?
I'm going to start us
Katie?
off.
Okay.
And I'm going to stand up because I sit all day and I'm sick of sitting. Oops. So the first thing I want to talk to you about a little bit is something I wanted to talk to you about at the last meeting, and that's the organization of the general plan. I want us to start thinking about that, and I wanted to do this before visioning so that when we get to visioning, we can kind of think of it in our heads all the different topics we're going to cover so we can make sure we have a comprehensive vision. So just to remind you, these are all the elements that we are required to include, but they're just the minimum requirement. Last time we did the general plan update, we did include additional elements such as a community character. And so I just want to throw this out to you, if this is a fine way of doing it, and ask you, what else are we missing?
Katie, a question, if I may. To be clear, the ones with the mark are the ones that were included in the previous plan.
Thank you. Great point. Yes, that's exactly right.
Yes.
And the ones without it is subject to consideration by this committee, or what?
The ones without a check mark are required,
Are required.
They've been
but we
added.
didn't. They weren't part of the plan the last time. Do you want to?
Just
The city grew.
Yeah, basically, there's certain requirements depending on how large your city is. Last time we did the general plan update, we were a community of 33,000, and when you pass this threshold of 50,000, you have a lot more requirements. So that column on the right are all those additional requirements. So we have to include those in the plan.
Okay.
But we're starting absolutely from scratch with those. Where on the ones on the left, we do, as we go through those chapters, we'll be able to bring you some information about what was done last time to give you some starting points to look at. But what were you hearing that you think, this is a topic that needs to be part of this plan? What else were you hearing about this?
1 second comment, if I may, is, okay, I agree with the additions, but I don't see anything around the farmers or agricultural.
Agricultural farmers.
I think it is an important topic we need to discuss here.
What else?
Cultural.
Cultural. Perfect. I'm looking at Deb Robinson.
Overall, healthy eating, active living.
Healthy
That's in a
communities.
nutshell.
Did you say healthy eating, active living? or
Yes,
just
healthy eating. Healthy eating, active living.
I like it.
Tourism.
Tourism. Ted.
Water resources and water quality.
Yes. Water resources in there. You don't know it, but water quality is included under water resources, but thank you for pointing. Quality is a huge part of that.
Economic development.
Economic development.
Sustainability.
Sustainability. These are great. Anything else? I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just
Our character as a city in there.
our character.
Something like remembering the past.
Yeah.
Remembering the past. taking it
History
forward
and
to the
character.
future. Yeah.
Okay.
Future.
What about like a go-to-market communication? How do we present this information out to the city or surrounding areas?
Okay, marketing. And maybe kind of part of that is implementation then too, is getting it out. And this isn't the only time you get a stab. Yes?
Kind of a broad topic, but technology.
Technology.
General.
I like it. Peter.
Communication?
Communication. Do you mean
How the
communicating
city
with the public, or
yeah, how the city would communicate with the public.
Okay.
I don't know if that would be on this.
Well, yeah, we don't have it up there though, but you are supposed to have a public. It's almost the amendments, but yeah, write it down there though, because it falls under something. So.
Do we have transportation on there?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Education?
Education. That's great. Transportation is basically the circulation. It includes transit and
Circulation. Okay.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be
all
under
that.
the transportation master plan as well?
yeah, that's. And when we finally talk about the transportation and parks plan, we're going to talk about how these plans overlap with the general plan and what areas are going to be in both plans and what areas are going to be unique to either the general plan or the master plan. Any other ideas? And like I was going to say, this isn't our last step. We can always add more as we go through. I just wanted to get your ideas right now.
There was a lot of talk Saturday about some kind of a center to the city, maybe a combination of retail and entertainment and so forth. I don't know how you would put that in words.
Like a special places or unique places?
There's no center.
So downtown city center?
Yeah, there's no center.
Under recreation, would that include the Bullard Wash? Because there was a lot of conversation at the workshop about taking
Yeah.
more advantage of the Bullard Wash.
I think it could fall under that or active, is what you're hearing.
I'm gonna put both downtown center and board wash under maybe a special places. Maybe
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, we need to talk about. Goodyear's a big place. We have lots of different areas. What else? Anything else? I'm going to start passing something around, but think. Yes.
Well, there was a question about public art.
Yeah, culture, art.
Okay.
And so it doesn't conflict with, say, transportation plan, make people further confused.
All right, I mean, I think we're getting a really good list here, and as we think of ideas, we can add to this list as we go throughout the plan. But what you're seeing here is basically, last time we did the general plan update, each of these elements did become a chapter. But each element doesn't have to be a chapter. It's funny, just in September we had our big planning state conference, and one of the women who worked very closely on developing the regulations in the state statute was saying, you know, I almost kicked myself because we created these elements and then cities really confine themselves to these elements, and she hopes cities think outside the box more and open themselves up to more ideas. So that's one thing we're trying to do is, you know, we're not confined to just these elements, and it's not that, you know, we have to go through this dictated matrix and have a chapter for each one. And how we organize the plan can actually say something about the plan too. It can start telling somebody, once they open and look at that table of contents, a little bit about what's important to us. So I've been looking at how we can organize these elements. And these are some different items I looked to. One was the Smart Growth Guiding Principles, which you have those in your binder. I forget what tab they're under now. But you can see the 6 items under oh, it's under tab 6. Thanks, Joe. So those are the different guiding principles you can see there. There was also this Gallup poll that was done a couple years ago called the Arizona We Want, and they came up with 6 additional items, which you can see here: consensus, attachment, leadership, job creation, aesthetics and natural environment, and openness. Our city also has a strategic plan that our city council is responsible for, and those are the 4 items under that. And then also, now that we've been collecting comments, I don't have it ready to distribute yet. I'm going to get it to you before the December meeting. But I've got over 350 comments already right now from GAIN and the Visioning Workshop. And I'm starting to see some patterns here of what people are talking about. And they're talking a lot about transportation. They're talking a lot about parks. They're talking a lot about jobs. They're talking a lot about what is Goodyear's identity. And those are some of the major themes I'm seeing coming across from people. So that's what we're looking at. So given all that, what I just passed out to you is my stab at trying to organize this and create some chapters. And then I put the required elements under those chapters. But then I would like to then start adding some of these elements that you all just came up with under those chapters too. And maybe it becomes that we revise some of these chapters. These are also working titles. They're not, you know, really fun. Don't get you excited about planning in Goodyear or anything. But so as we go along, we might want to change those. You know, instead of saying transportation, we might want to say moving around in Goodyear, or how we move, or how we get to where we want to go, or whatever we want to title that chapter. But you know, we can worry about that later. But just, you know, maybe start thinking about that as we go through these. You know, how do we want to? And that's what I mean, where we can start actually telling people something about the community, even with our chapters. I saw one general plan where they actually took these major goals, and each goal was a chapter, and that's how they organized their plan. So we can do lots of different things with this. So you have that there. Should we go ahead and do that?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to get to tonight with just these organization of the general plan, if you can think of these chapters, is like, what are the big picture concepts we're talking about for our future? And these working titles, you know, they're not particularly, they don't spur your imagination. But, you know, land use and growth is, you know, how do we build in the future? How do we deal with that? And then within that bigger chapter, what are the specific topics, which are the elements that we have to talk about? Because when you talk about planning for a whole city, it's so complex. So what we're trying to do is make this document more digestible for people when they read it, and then also more meaningful to the community when they open it up too. This is a document that really talks about our future. There are these big ideas. And then within the big ideas, there are the little ideas. Not everybody's that interested in how many gallons per day of water we use. But you know what? We need to deal with it in the general plan. It's required by law. So that would go in the water element. But let's talk about water from a big picture. You know, or let's talk about sustainability from the big picture. What's in there? And I'm just throwing this idea out. It might be water, our environment, or so I think just the reason we're trying to get you to think about this is, one, as we move into the vision now, what we're trying to do is we're hoping, we're thinking that each of these big ideas is going to have a vision, and that's the framework that is for that big idea. But the whole plan, we need we need the big kahuna picture, and then sort of the little kahunas that go under it for each chapter. And so what we want to get to tonight sort of is the big kahuna, the one that guides the whole plan. But it's hard to talk about the big thing unless you kind of know the elements or what's going to make it up. And so that's why we put this information out. Does that make sense? We're sort of trying to build the structure here?
Yes.
Yeah? We're doing a good job of communicating?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so before we get to the visioning, I do want to talk to you a little bit about what we've done so far, because I had a really busy month. I don't know what you guys have been doing, but so first I want to talk to you about GAIN Community Festival. And again, thank you for all those who stopped by the booth. I saw several of you come by. I'm hearing that there was about 4,000 people at the GAIN Community Festival. I received 134 comment cards, and I want to, I have a little video to show you, so let me pull it up. This is just a little time lapse so you can see all the people coming through our booth. I downloaded a new app and I just couldn't help myself. It's called Lapse It. It's lots of fun. So we'll go through. But you can see we basically had cards out for people, and they could write their ideas and then post them up. And I wasn't sure if people would like it, but people loved it. We received 134 comment cards, which is a lot for people to stop, take time out, and actually write something on a card. And we received a lot of good ones. So that's a lot of hard work down to 30-second video. But also, just to show you a few pictures, this is the booth. We had information over here, and then they had the comments over there. And so just some pictures from the day. And that's what our big board looked like at the end. So then we also had our visioning workshop on Saturday, November 3rd. And again, thank you to all those who came. Several of you acted as facilitators. It was a big help. I really enjoyed it. So I counted, we had 42 residents who attended, and then a whole slew of staff. We're going to get to this in a second, but we ended up creating 7 different vision statements. But we also collected 180 ideas. And I also, for those who had to leave early, we had a little survey so those people could put their ideas down on their way out. And I received 70 ideas just from those who included on the survey. And like I said, we're going to get all those to you once I have time. So I was at Desert Edge High School. So here's just some pictures from it. Chuck did a great job helping the mayor welcome us in the morning. We had a few great presentations, and we're going to talk about this later when I go through the website, but I put the PowerPoint presentations on the website so anybody can get to those. So that's a picture of the whole group. During lunch, the speakers who spoke about transportation and development, sustainability, one spoke about art and culture and the other the economy. And I really recommend checking out those PowerPoints because they were really interesting. They were really, really good. But then they answered questions over lunch, and then we got to the fun part, and we got down into groups and actually started coming up with ideas. And you can see here, everyone just started writing their ideas. And then, see, you come to the meeting, you end up in a picture. And then those ideas were presented to the whole group, these visions, and that gave everyone a chance to hear everybody else's ideas. So then we went back to the small groups and then refined, and that's when there were 7 different tables, and so each table came up with their own vision. And then they presented that once again. Then we hung the visions up on the wall, and everybody got 1 dot, and they could put 1 dot on their favorite vision. So when you get the vision statements, you'll see it'll reference a number of dots that it got. So that's kind of what they look like at the end. But then we also threw up those ideas, those 180 ideas, and gave everyone 3 dots, and they could put dots on the ideas they thought were most important. So when we give you this big sheet full of ideas, you'll kind of see which ones people thought were the most important from that. And we gave a thank you gift, these little mugs, so that's what you have here is our little mug, and the little clip inside was a gift we gave away at Gaines, so those are all for you. That was it. It was a lot of fun. I just want to throw out real quick, Chuck said something, but any of the people who, especially I know like Deb and Steve, you both led tables. Do you have any comments about how you thought it went or anything to add from what I've said? Or?
Great participation. I thought it was terrific participation. Our group, we just kept writing down ideas. I mean, it was really phenomenal. It was really great to see the involvement of everybody. So we had a great time.
It was really great. At our table, even though we were doing a vision for 2025, one of the participants wanted to know what we were going to do about Goodyear right now. So we put that in our mission statement.
Did somebody say that we need the mall right now, to have patience, but we need it right now?
Session that we learned was that I think the time of year and the time that we held it, a lot of people at the visioning session were older, and a lot of the people at Gaines were younger. And so all I would suggest is that when you go through your comments, to really blend the two, because what we're learning is that families in Goodyear are busy. They're like at softball games and soccer games and church events and whatever they do on the weekends, and they're just busy. They're all equally busy at night, but it's a really good way to reach them at fairs and festivals, go to places where they go with their families. On the other side, workshops and things like that we have tend to capture people that may have a little bit more time. They're not just booked, day to night with everybody else's agenda. And they maybe have more control over their schedule. And those tend to be folks that are older, retirees or winter visitors. But what I think is most interesting is when you put it all together, you realize everybody's talking about the same thing. So we're going to continue making sure we do things at different times of the day and in different venues so that we can continue to get a broad cross-section. But I would encourage you, again, this is sort of my every meeting request as you talk to your friends and neighbors, encourage them to come out. Because honestly, you're not going to know if they don't tell you. It's as simple as that, and they do need to tell you.
Yeah, and I guess now would be a good time to get it on your calendars now that we do have a series of open houses scheduled January 29th, 30th, and 31st. And we're going to have one north of I-10, one central, and one in Estrella to, try and come to the residents. And we haven't set the specific times, but they'll probably be sometime like 6 to 8:30. But that'll be more of a style, come when you can. If you've only got 20 minutes, you've only got 20 minutes, but we're going to try and get a lot of good information. And at that, we hope to take these visions that you're creating so we can show them to the community and just say, what do you think? Did we do a good job? Or do you have comments? Or based on those visions, what are your ideas? So then we can start creating the goals and the policies as we go through each chapter. So January 29th, 30th, and 31st.
On our little calendar here in our book.
Yeah. And if you could, we're just hoping that you would come to one. If you want to come to more than one, please do. What we'll probably be, what Katie said is we'll probably have out there is the vision and the more smaller visions for these chapters and maybe some other ideas that have been developed as we've walked through the process.
I just wanted to add a comment about the visioning. I asked the people that were sitting at my table how they heard about the event, and they said the door hangers. Okay. So that may be something to keep in mind. And that was only 2 people, but obviously it got 2 more people to come to the event.
The process, just so you guys know, our technique was with those door hangers was to get the word out. That's why we had on the webpage, and to sort of drive people and make them aware. There's some cost considerations with door hangers, as you might know. So the idea was to let them know this is out there, and then hopefully if they now see it or hear of it through another source or another media source, they'll connect that with the door hanger, with the speakers, with the general plan. So we're trying to, layer. That's why we did this massive push at the beginning. It was the same idea with Again, was to just put the word out with as many people as possible, so when they hear that word now, Goodyear 2025, or general plan, they're going to connect that with the community planning effort somehow. And they'll connect it somehow that it's the city and the website, and they'll get there. So we're just trying to train people, I guess would be the best way to put it, to connect that link, that there is a community planning effort, and they can access it through a variety of ways.
These PowerPoints are on the general plan's website?
Yes.
Okay, so we're ready to go on to visioning. Any other comments?
We're such a diverse committee from so many different neighborhoods in our city. If we just let our HOAs and alliances and people like that know that they have someone from their community on this committee, just by being good ambassadors that way, we're going to get the word out. Word of mouth is one of the fastest things to get the word out. And that'll let each community know that they have someone in their community that's on the committee. And maybe then you can encourage ideas from neighbors and other members of the community, of your community.
If I could add one more thing, we just did an immediate executive conference here. One of the things that, if you're interested in, is that we could do is give you the equipment and materials, and any of you can go out as an ambassador to your HOA and conduct any kind of these input sessions with them as well. So, don't feel like you're stuck here. This is, you are it. And so if you want to go out and get more input, if you want to reach out to an HOA, if you want to take a half hour of an HOA meeting and get people to fill out file cards, we'll be happy to catalog that information if you want to go out and gather it. Any way we can get it in, we would welcome it.
You have
question, just a quick. Somebody mentioned that some of the residents asked, what is Goodyear doing right now? Although there is a 2025 visioning,
Right.
there was something right now. Did somebody answer that question?
I can answer it. What Goodyear is doing now is using its current general plan. So I don't know if any of you have had time to look at that, but there's a couple things in that plan that guide city decisions. Probably the most key things are, and the easiest to reference things that people tend to just fall back on, are things like the land use map. So if someone, like Todd or George comes in, or any of you comes in and says, I want to build a blank, what do I need to do? The first thing a planner will do is open their general plan map and say, you can build a blank here, here, and here, because that's what our plan says. Or if someone says, I have a piece of property, I want to build a blank, they open the general plan and say, does your zoning allow it, and does the general plan allow it? So that's the first part. The other thing that's important is there is a circulation map in that plan that talks about where your major roads are going to be built. So as people plan developments, or as the city seeks funding for roadways, they build according to that map. I think your plan has street intersections in it as well, right? So each of those streets show you how wide that street will be, how many lanes it will be. All of that is in the general plan. So what we're doing now is following that plan. Also in the plan are policies about economic development or about community. So when the city is making major decisions, it looks to the plan. And the plan is also guiding in-place efforts. So a lot of efforts that are underway now are as a result of the council mandating to staff by adopting the last plan and your community, because you voted on the last one, didn't you, or no? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and your community mandating to staff. These are things we want to see happen. So, for example, I think having a Parks and Rec master plan was in the last plan. So the Parks and Rec master plan that we're doing now is direction from the last plan. We need more detail about that.
Is it possible to get, is the city on track on that plan, or are there strengths and weaknesses, or something, went out of whack and there was no reality check at all? Can anyone comment on that?
Well, one thing we're going to be giving you, we didn't want to bombard you with so much information your first couple meetings, because we have a lot to do, a lot of visioning to do. But this past spring, we worked with a group of ASU students, a graduate level ASU group, and they created an existing conditions report for us. So probably January or February, we're going to have that ready for you, and that's going to go through everything. Along with that existing conditions report, I plan on bringing you kind of that assessment. Basically, each year we have been going through all of our implementation plan and saying, hey, where are we with the implementation plan? Are we doing it or not? But I think we could also, staff could go through all the goals and try and assess where we are. But I think that's also something we're going to ask from you. When we get to the land use and growth chapter, we're going to give you the goals that are in the current plan, and you as a starting point, you can say, well, we sure aren't doing that one, or that one doesn't make sense, or that one does make sense, again, or, so give you a starting point. Does that help, or?
I think one of the things I'd just like to say about the old plan and the new plan is there's no requirement that we take this old document and just edit it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we hope to accomplish with the visiting session, and maybe you got there because I see you're sort of nodding, is to tell, or it's not to tell, but to let people begin to think about, have you ever heard the expression, your cheese has been moved? Mm-hmm. To let people think about, everyone's cheese has been moved in the world. Our economy is different. The entire demographics of the country is different than it was 10 years ago. Technology is completely different than it was 10 years ago. How we work, how we move, how we live is different. And so one of the things we tried to get people to think about at this visioning session is the world is changing. We can't just edit what we have. We need to leap ahead if we're going to be a city of the future. And so I think one of the reasons that we've not kind of just handed out the plan and said, what do we need to fix, is we don't want to force you into an editing job if that's not what you want. It may be what you want, and that's your call too. But this is an opportunity to make this plan whatever you want, and to look very critically at the last plan and say, is this a document, a format, are these the topics that we need to address as we leapfrog? Because you've got to get ahead now for the next 10, 15 years. You've got to get ahead of the curve. And this is the plan, this is the document that provides a framework to help your city do it. Karen?
That's great.
Okay. So having said, go ahead, sorry.
Well, and to make sure that you understand how this plan works, we're not planning only for 2025 and beyond. We're actually, that's the end of our plan. Our plan, once we give it to the council, if they approve it and it goes to the voters and they adopt it, it actually starts in like 14 or 15, the things that we're going to recommend to them. So it's going to be things that are going to affect Goodyear pretty quickly, really, within the next year or two, as we wind down on the last general plan. Okay?
So having said that, we're going to move into visioning. Are there any more questions that we want to? Okay. We're going to move into visioning. And as I said, what we're going to try and do is get folks to come up with the big, what I'm going to call the big vision, the main vision for the plan. So we handed out a copy of the visions, the 7 visions that came out of the effort. Are there any extras of those anywhere?
Yeah.
There's some right down here.
Are they down?
No, they're here. And there.
Okay, so do we want them to send hand them out? So what I'm going to ask you to do while handing these out to the folks in the back is just read through these visions. And remember, these were the visions at the end of the session. Everybody came up with their own style vision, and then we took everybody and sent them back to the tables and said, you need to come up with just a kind of a comprehensive vision for the whole plan. And so they went and they listened to comments, to people talking about the ideas that they had, because once you presented it, everybody else in the room got to ask you questions about it. And they went back to fix up their visions, knowing that people were going to vote on them. So this is each group's best effort at creating a vision for the future of Goodyear. There may be spelling errors in them.
It should be
Good Earth. Yeah, for the Earth City. Okay. So the third one, not Goody Earth, but Good Earth. And what I'm going to ask you to do as you're reading through these is to mentally note which 2 visions you like the most. Which 2 visions you think are the best. I feel like I should play Jeopardy myself. Not ready? Okay, so what I'm going to do is go around the table very quickly and ask each of you to tell me the 2 top visions that you like, and we're going to keep score. So Todd, can I start with you?
The top 2.
The top 2, okay. George,
I'm the big picture and synergy.
okay. Next.
Yeah, I like the first one and first one and second one.
Second one, okay. I can't see names, so.
I'm going with the first one. I like the synergy one too.
Okay. Next.
I agree. Same.
First and synergy. Next.
First in synergy?
Oh, looks a little bit like the election. Next.
Second and fourth.
Second and fourth, okay, thank you. Next,
The first and last.
the first and the last one being a city of lifestyle, that one? Okay, next,
Number 1 and number 3.
number 1 and number 3. Goodyear, the Garden City? Okay.
Goodyear. Sorry.
2 and 6.
2 and 6. 6. Transportation, being 6?
Or synergy.
Synergy, okay. Next,
Number 1 in synergy.
okay. Next,
First two.
okay. Next,
Number 1 in synergy.
okay. Next,
Synergy being number 1, and then number 1 being number 2.
okay. Next,
3 and synergy.
3. So Good Earth and synergy?
Yes.
Okay. Next,
Like 1 and 2.
1 and 2, okay.
I get 2 in synergy, but can we do editing or that comes
No,
later?
One and 2.
I'd like some edits.
Okay,
6 and 1.
6 and 1.
Synergy.
Synergy, 6 and 1, okay?
I should have.
Big picture synergy.
Picture and synergy, okay.
Big picture, Good Earth, the Garden City.
Okay.
1 and 3.
Okay. So, the winners, so to speak, of votes are going to be obviously the big picture and then big synergy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the two, what I'm going to call working visions right now that we have.
Simple.
What I'm going to do is ask you to break into 4 groups. I'll break you into 4 groups. I'm going to give each of you a set of pads. And what I want you to do is now look at the visions that got left out and figure out how you're going to amend your vision. I'm going to give half of you the Good Earth. I'm going to give half of you synergy, half of you the big picture. And you need to amend those 2 visions with all the other things that you think are important that got left out of the other visions, okay? So I'm going to break you into groups. You don't have a choice. This half of the table gets the big picture. You guys will get the synergy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're group 1. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, group 2. Maybe 6 would be group 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, group 3. And then the rest of you guys are group 4. Okay? Bigger a pad. See, you thought you got away with it by not going to the workshop, but you did.
Incorporating things that aren't here. So we're putting everything in big
Okay, so maybe what you can do is just pull your chairs around.
What's the task? You take everything from like the other one.
So when you're going to take from the detector, we're supposed to talk.
Sure. With including those key elements.
Do that and give them right back.
Right.
And to look at the rest of it.
Hey, Joe, can we have this big pad?
Everybody's got a big pad? No.
We're needing an overarching vision. Let's, in my sense, have any specific vision.
So, okay, well, and we can tell you what I like from the other ones that were left out, any ideas that we want to incorporate into it.
Right, and
I like this because
not that I don't want to collaborate, but I don't know that that's,
but I'm sure there's
a primary aspect of the vision.
Under the work will tell you anything more specific.
yeah.
Exactly.
That means you are sustainable.
makes it highly desirable.
What makes it with parks, you know, so what makes something highly desirable? Well, beautiful downtown areas, parks, recreation, you know, and prominent.
You know what? I like both those where it came up. Almost even like them separate. There's a lot of discussion about how I'm from the Midwest. A lot of plants here. And we're like youth park, a lot of balls. And we're kind of promoting an innovations type atmosphere where you just look at your neighbors. I think they could be. They could be. I think just look at it both ways. It was a real different type of neighborhood.
Yeah, you just move towards sustainable neighborhoods.
Like, a lot of times ask somebody where they're from. People say, oh, I live in the street. I live in Pebble Creek. I live in Palm Valley. They don't say they live in Goodyear. So we want to promote in the future people saying, I'm from Goodyear. And yeah, I happen to live in the neighborhood.
I try to think, why are people here? Why have they chosen to come here? What is it that is already here that would bring more business, additional, that bring business and residents here? Or what can we do to create that? And the bottom line is, we're in competition with the others. For business, for residents, for whatever. So we're friendly.
We are.
But I wouldn't put that word in the vision, but I also wouldn't highlight cooperating with them.
And we have one street.
I think that's part of it, but I think it's also connecting within the city. I mean, right now we're separate neighborhoods. I feel that, we've got a couple events. We've got the Gain event, how well attended that is. I like some of the Friday night movie things and the Christmas parties at the ballpark. Honestly, I don't like them near as much at the ballpark as one is at the city park on Ridgefield.
Anything else in your life?
Community park?
No, they used to have the Christmas things. Little kids, we'd take our kids up and they'd have a huge thing. It's the Christmas time for the kids. And that is well attended. I mean, there's thousands of people that go to that. But, I think in synergy, I think the thing that
We've all talked about the barriers.
within that live, work, and play, we can add anything we want. I liked some of the stuff. I really feel we need to have a downtown hub. I really do. I feel the Strait Parkway should be built up like, I was really excited when they were going to have a college in there, and I was really disappointed when that fell through. I would love to see some kind of what they mentioned, something to support the ballpark, down there. So it's a destination. Right now, I don't feel it's a destination. I feel like,
That's a good term. We need the center as a destination for our own community, and we need to become a destination in the Southwest Valley.
That would be a big one. That would be a big one.
Maybe we could look at something different.
Isn't that what's captured in these sections? Connectivity through community rail, bus, pedestrian, front porch, parks, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, a cultural center, right? But I mean, if you had all that stuff right in there,
But a community, something that,
I look at if I wanted to go see a game, I would rather go into Phoenix or Tempe or Mesa right now. Honestly, I would make the drive rather than go to the Goodyear ballpark because then I can make a day of it. I can go to the game, I can go to eat, I can, walk around place with my wife. Here, I go to the ballpark, I go home. Maybe go to Applebee's, And then you gotta drive to do that. There's nothing around the ballpark. Holy cow.
Well, you got to lose when you guys decide to.
Make room for you here.
And we have number 2. I like that one too. That was I think that should be Well, you know, the way I feel in Goodyear, and I live on the south side, I'm in Wildflower Ranch, we have to drive, unless we go right there by the Safeway or by Fry's, you have to drive to go to everything. We're going all the way to Litchfield, going all the way to Dysart. I'm in Southton,
until it happens,
Wildflower Ranch.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's you know,
We had the oldest.
Goodyear's very spread out, and it's
That's something that's not now we put around the park and see adults out there walking their dog and jogging and doing things like that, but they never did before because there was no sidewalks.
Yeah, we're just
Only
gonna
do it
ideas
in
right
the
now, and then we'll write it all.
I'm just amazed at how, and that was.
excuse me, sorry.
And when you see it, yeah, he's all about that.
Oh, really?
We talked about multiple transportation.
Well, and that's, I guess we should, we have the city, we have the city center project, is it already, you know, dressed and everything, but then
They do bring
the county,
transportation in.
I have to tell you, according,
Once you get, once the
it's
stuff's
still in the
there,
works, but it's been, even since they bought the Anita, these buildings, to me, because now that they saw this. Well, you talk about community, when you talk about, they needed to expand before, now they have, you know, that's your child's education, college, I mean, that's, to me, that's you can get more specific.
In the big picture, I like
To me, you can be
the statement,
and be
you
so
know,
much
I'm taking phrases out, an infrastructure to promote Goodyear. And the second one, I think we all agree, just like that, kind of like take that third bullet point, incorporate that entirely. Again, we have to look at the wording of how to do this.
He may have said most.
Number 3 just seems like a lot of fluff to me.
They strive much better than towns that are just kind of spread out. We want to create here, kind of have.
Well, again, but number 3 is really kind of going with what Goodyear is, because they want the city center.
Well, I'm just looking for points that might be made in each of these that aren't made somewhere else that we'd like to incorporate. The family one talks about diversity. I suppose we should show something more on that. I like the statement of community.
750. Right. So even without taking any more land.
The connectivity with the other communities, I really think, is a public transportation system. I think that is uber important. There is no way to get public transportation into the city. Not without spending hours.
Of town right now. I would say it's probably on McDowell, somewhere around Ridgefield or Dysart. But Australia could end up the center, you know. Also part of this process. But I like to do a lot of talking about the next day and wild around the center.
It's just, there's so much that other communities that are doing.
Shade didn't get mentioned, man. You know, one thing I like about that, just to keep Goodyear physically attractive, That's one of the things that attracted me to it.
We do it in Avondale, Ridgefield Park, and even as far up as Wilkin. So it's not just this part of the valley is where it's going to be growing. The east is so built up already, and they're kind of landlocked by reservations. Keep in mind,
Might there be some discussion of what they determine density? We're talking about, we got this surfeit of open space now. Obviously, we want more residential, more almost anything. But like drive through Tempe, and it's like Southern California. I mean, I hope we can grow without getting quite that dense. Kind of a self-limiting thing.
It's just far enough out of the city that you get a small town feel. Right.
Anybody not done?
I think we're not done.
Well, what if we can start writing, we can start adding the stuff that each one we talk about.
I like the idea of the community process. I like the idea of the information
Okay, that was two things.
So, say them again so we can.
Say the two so we can write it.
Okay.
Next week.
And then the preservation.
Plus another $1 billion injection on top of the existing
With community gardens, kind of keep it.
How about, say, agricultural origin? Okay.
Yeah, the downtown corridor, or whatever we want to call it. City center, arts complex, or whatever we want to call it.
Hub providing family and community-oriented activities. Community and family-oriented activities.
That was an edict. That was an edict.
Okay, and each one of you, one person from each group is going to need to read the vision, so maybe you want to use those last couple minutes to decide who you want, and then you're going to vote on the two you like the best. So, you want someone with a good speaking voice?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I just strike the and collaborating with other committees, enhancing connectivity within the city with a downtown hub.
And all I have is
Hub,
the website.
team family activity,
That will take a while.
creating city for all generations, preserving our agricultural origins,
Let's just integrate what we feel is left
We
out.
can say enhance connectivity between the generations, between the city. Creating a city center. Preserving our history. Someone a good writer that can write this down, just have an idea about it, and say it.
All right, everybody, ready?
Hey guys, time's up. Cut it out.
Create a highly desirable place for all to live, work, and play by enhancing
You're not going to stay here.
the city
So this is how it's gonna go for
with
this
a
next
multi-generational
little
downtown hub.
I'm gonna ask each representative of each group to read their vision, and then we're gonna take the vision. I think we're gonna put them over here. We're just kind of struggling for wall space. I think that's a good spot. And then we're gonna give you some time to read them, unless you feel like you don't know, you don't need them. But when you listen to the four visions, what I want you to do in your mind is think about the two you like the most. Okay? But we'll hang them on one of these walls. Think this long, and we'll give you some time, and then we're just gonna ask for the simple hand vote so that we get the top two, okay? So, how about this group? Read your vision first. Now, what you were doing was modifying, big picture vision.
So, more than just a collection of neighborhoods, we are a community, or a connected, sustainable community. Our goal is to utilize our existing assets to foster the arts, entertainment, and recreation while we build industries, educational institutions, and infrastructure to promote Goodyear while collaborating with surrounding communities.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna pin these on the wall.
Get back to us.
Okay. Group two, right over here.
Okay. Sorry, I have it in two different places. I think I'm good like this. Okay, we are a connected community. Our goal is to utilize our existing assets to foster the arts, entertainment, and recreation. Embracing sustainability and smart practices to build industries, educational institutions, and infrastructure to promote Goodyear and its sense of place as the center of the West Valley.
Take that vision from you.
I have to finish.
Okay, finish writing this. Okay, third table.
Okay, ours is to be a highly desirable place for all to live, work, and play by creating a sustainable community and utilizing prosperous economic development opportunities to foster growth within the entire West Valley.
Say that again, that was fast.
Slow.
One more time? All right. So, to be a highly desirable place for all to live, work, and play by creating a sustainable community and utilizing prosperous economic development opportunities to foster growth within the entire West Valley.
Okay, good, thank you. We're gonna take that and hang it up. And last group. Right? Yeah, last group.
I'm still crafting. Okay, well, let me go, because I'm jumping around. All right. And we're taking pieces from a lot of things. Create a desirable place for all to live, work and play. Enhancing a multi-generational connectivity within the city through a downtown hub. Providing family and community-oriented activities as a local destination for residents and a regional destination for others, while preserving the agricultural origins of the area.
Can you do that one more time for me?
It's here.
Who can take shorthand? Create a desirable place for all to live, work, and play, enhancing multi-generational connectivity within the city through a downtown hub, providing family and community-oriented activities as a destination for local residents and others in the region. while preserving the agricultural origins of the area, and there was something else.
Education, arts, and culture.
No, we didn't say that. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, I need you guys to get that on a piece of paper, and while you're working on it, I'm going to invite all of you to go back up, and I'm going to number these, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. And I want you in your mind to pick the 2 visions that you think out of all of the 4 now represent, again, the best for the future of Goodyear, okay? It's a little bit of an iterative process, but we'll get there. So stand up if you need to, if you already know which ones you want. Give you a few minutes to think of that, and we've got one group writing furiously. Okay? So in about 3 minutes, I'm going to ask for a vote, so unless you don't need a vote.
But this is subject to editing, isn't it?
Huh?
All of these statements are subject to edits.
All this is, say one more time.
They are subject to edits, to grammar edits.
Generational.
Grammar, spelling, remember that's in our rules, they don't count.
He's a good proofreader.
Activity.
I don't want to be hostage.
As a group or individually?
Okay, so you're going to pick 2.
Leslie, as a group or individually, do you want us voting?
Individually, you're going to vote again. Okay, we're going to do it by hand vote.
Okay, by hand.
Through a downtown hub. Providing family and community but they'd say destination activities instead of that, cut out all. I had, just go ahead, family and community destination activities. That lets me take out about 12 words. For the city and region.
That's what I thought it would do.
While preserving
We're very thorough.
I'm going to give you a chance to read your thing.
agricultural origins
To remember if there's
and whatever they want to put in. Who's the gentleman who said cultural? How do you want to word that? Where'd he go?
Wait a second.
And fostering
Community oriented.
Oh, I got that. We want
That was education, arts, and culture. That's what we
education, arts, and culture.
You need to show off my whole ones. I just, I take a shortcut. I know, I take a shortcut through there to come to my back gate. And I go, oh,
Okay, I'm going to ask the group that didn't get theirs up to read it one more time in case you think that's going to be one of your 2. So go ahead.
Okay, creating a desirable place for all to live, work, and play, enhancing multi-generational connectivity within the city through a downtown hub, providing family and community destination activities for the city and the region, while preserving agricultural origins and fostering education, arts, and culture.
Okay, does anyone want to hear that again? Number 1. That's going to be number 1. Anybody want to hear it again?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Again?
Again.
Creating a desirable place for all to live, work, and play, enhancing multi-generational connectivity within the city through a downtown hub, providing family and community destination activities for the city and for the region, while preserving our agricultural origins and fostering education, arts, and culture.
Okay. All right, so we're just going to do right now a simple hand vote. So let's start with number 4. How many people for number 4? 2. You get to pick 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, number 2. 9, thank you. And number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay.
Well, then I shouldn't vote
So,
for anybody else.
interestingly enough, number 3 and number 1 have the same number of votes. So I'm going to give you guys a choice. What I was going to ask you to do is, once again, do the same exercise again, where I give one set of groups number, I'd split you into 2 groups this time. One group gets number 3, one group's going to get number 1, and you need to modify it by 4 and 2. If you don't want to go through that brain damage exercise again, what we can also do is just now vote between number 3 and 1, and what we'll do as a group is work on modifying the winner with the other 3 visions.
Let's do that.
All right?
Let's spend a minute and
So
look
let's
at
do that.
each
So
of them.
let's read number 3 and number 1 again. Katie, do you mind? Since you're there?
Number 3, synergy. To be a highly desirable place for all to live, work, and play by creating a sustainable community and utilizing prosperous economic development opportunities to foster growth within the entire West Valley. Number 1, creating a desirable place for all to live, work, and play, enhancing multi-generational connectivity within the city through a downtown hub providing family and community destination activity for the city and region while preserving agricultural origins and fostering our education, arts, and culture.
We need to read them again? Anybody want to hear them again? Okay, let's have a vote. Number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a block here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's 10. Number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So number 3, synergy is going to take it. So what we're going to do now is really quickly type synergy onto the computer screen. And we're going to work on fixing synergy with the other visions. Okay? So if there were key elements in those other visions, and I'm happy to read them again, that you think are missing out of synergy, we're now going to modify synergy so that it makes sure we get everything in it. Does that make sense to everybody? And that's going to be our vision. So this is the wordsmith time for now. Well, it's going to be our vision more or less. I mean, we may correct grammar, but that's pretty much going to be our vision. What we're going to do with the vision, so that you know, is at the open houses, we're going to put it out for public comment and review. And what we'll do is bring those comments back to you and ask you if you feel we missed the boat, if we need to make any major adjustments or minor adjustments. But this is right now what we're going to call our working vision. Does that work for everybody? Does that make sense? Okay. So give us 1 second while the amazing Katie gets it up there. Everybody read this. Do we need to make the font clear? Good for everybody? You can all see it?
Resume to visible.
So I think the easiest way to do it is I'm going to read each of the 3 visions that didn't get voted in. And what I'm going to read them maybe one at a time, and I'll start with the one that with the second highest choice. And I want you just to think of key items. We'll start with that vision. We'll decide if we need to modify. We'll go to the next one. We'll decide if we need to modify. We'll go to the third one. We decide we need to modify. I want to try and spend about 5 minutes at the most on each vision to modify this, okay? Because we could be here all night. So if I go into a little bit of a strict mode, it's just because I want to keep us moving. So let's start with number 1, which was the top contender here. And that vision reads, creating a desirable place for all to live, work, and play, enhancing multi-generational connectivity within the city through a downtown hub, providing family and community destination activities for the city and region while preserving agricultural origins and fostering our education, arts, and culture. Want me to read it again? Okay, what kind of changes would we like to make to this synergy vision?
Strobe light, everybody dead.
What'd you do?
lose cable.
They're getting sleepy.
Is that a Norman? No, I guarantee you, they're just knocked the cable loose.
That's a Norman for some.
Oh, yeah.
Aberration.
Okay, synergy. So how do we want to modify this?
The downtown, I like that part
Yeah.
about the central downtown.
So we want to say live, work, and play by creating a sustainable community, downtown.
Downtown hub.
Hub.
Downtown hub.
With a
Yeah.
downtown.
Is it just the word?
With a downtown
Right.
hub.
How about while preserving our agricultural history right after that?
I'm not sure we should bind ourselves to forcing a downtown hub, though.
I know it's a little bit too near.
I like the connectivity.
Hold on. Now it's time for Roberts, okay? So, we've got an idea out there. Can we put the new words in different colors?
It's a good idea. A bold
Okay, let's start with that idea. Okay, so here's an idea with the downtown hub. Okay, now there seems to be some discussion about using the term downtown hub. Who has a comment on that?
Go ahead.
All right, let's start there.
Given that the vision is in theory going to be the primary plan for the general plan, and I'm not certain we should use the explicit term because then it may force us into trying to produce procedures to create a downtown hub, which may or may not be in the city's best interest.
Okay, there's some other comments, go ahead.
I might be speaking for myself, not the whole team, but I think we were really rushing through that, and I don't think we meant it has to be downtown hub. We were thinking more like the cultural city center, that type of thing. So putting in the words downtown hub was not, explicitly what we talked about.
So, what I'm hearing is maybe this, instead of saying downtown hub, with the center.
A central corridor type of thing is what we were talking about, more of a centralized business cultural center.
I was just going to say, instead of explicitly saying any thought process behind a point in the city that's used as like the center, is just saying as sustainable central community, so that it is the entire community and it's not forcing anybody to build one place, something someplace or another.
I like the connectivity part, and I think that kind of goes with what he was saying is, something that enhances the connectivity. I agree. I don't think you want to say, it's at a focused point.
Okay, here's an idea. How about with destinations that offer? Okay, so we're not calling it a downtown hub, but we're saying it's a destination. It's a specific place. We'll put an S on it. That offer, and then we could list possibly, or with destinations that offer arts, culture,
Entertainment.
Entertainment, yeah.
Okay.
So instead of saying with a downtown hub, let's start with destinations
Live, work, and play.
that offer arts, culture, and entertainment.
Shopping.
Shopping, yeah.
That's that's
Retail.
That's also wrapped up in play, I'd imagine
Yeah.
too.
How about if we said opportunities to live, work, that offer opportunities to live, work, and play, or or just with destinations that attract people for a variety of reasons, instead of listing all of these.
Yeah, that's better.
Does that work? Can we say that? Is there any problems with that?
But isn't that a little vague?
Yeah.
I mean,
It is, but we can refine it more in the land use element,
That's why
or the land use section.
I don't
It's
like.
a vision.
I don't like the variety of reasons. Honestly, I don't.
Okay, okay.
I like the original one. I really think you have to say something about culture. It's what brings people together.
but you also have to tell them what your thought processes are, because when you hand that out to the community, if you have a very vague statement, they're like, what?
Our thought process was that when you think about some of the East Valley cities, there are destinations where people will go to spend the weekend or the day. And we're missing that here, and we wanted
Okay,
something.
can we say that? Destinations where people will go to spend the weekend or the day, would that work?
Like daily destination.
I think you have to be more specific.
No, but the vision should be very high level. You should not get in detail. The city
city center is only one element. I think we should not put in something about.
How about with destinations that reflect the culture of the city or that offer culture? And again, I understand what you're saying, but you guys need to also not be in a position where you're defending your idea now. Now we're putting it out to the universe, so to speak, and we're trying to figure out how the universe can make sure that, you know, we have a broad thought process here. So I'm hearing some people say we need to list specific destinations, like we need to have arts and culture and education, and other people saying, do we want to list that or not? Where are we at with that? How do we get through that?
I think if you say just multifunctional or multi-purpose destinations, that fits in with the buzzword of sustainable, because if you narrow it to specific things, even something as good as cultural, then that gives it one purpose, and if it's not being used for that, then it's not being used for anything. So it's important to just make things multifunctional, because then they can be used year-round and for different things all the time.
Anybody else have a comment?
One comment is that when you, just regarding the sustainability issue, multifunction does not guarantee that it's going to be economically sustainable. So, I mean, not to eliminate the word sustainable. That's my comment on it. So you need that. The other comment, if I, okay.
Go ahead.
What about instead of, what I want to say it, I'd like to tie the destination with why do we want the destination rather than what it should be. And I think maybe we can tie that to the issue of connecting the community. So if we create destinations, which I don't think these are the exact words, but offer an opportunity for the community to come together.
Okay, let me just sort of listening to everybody. How about trying something like this? With multi-purpose destinations connected to the community or connected throughout the community, providing opportunity,
Provides opportunities for multi-generational.
well, no, providing that multi-connected, multi-purpose destinations connected throughout the community, offering opportunities for arts, culture, or arts, education, and economic development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Try that first.
okay, go
Let's
ahead.
see what that looks like.
Yeah, put it up there.
I'm not sure we want to say multi-purpose. That's like a gymnasium that has
Yeah.
multi-purpose.
I was thinking that same
A
thing.
better wording for this would be a variety of attractive destinations, or a variety of destinations would be a little bit better.
Why don't you just say destinations that provide an opportunity for multi-generation interaction or something?
I think that there's a contingent, and tell me that if I'm wrong, that feels that the idea of arts and culture is so important it needs to be in the vision. Is that what I'm hearing? How many people here really feel that arts and culture is that important to this community? And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it needs to be in the vision. It needs to be at that level. It's critical. Okay, we're not getting a whole lot of folks saying.
Nope.
I saw the highly desirable place is cover lots of things already. It's the vision really do not want to get in very detailed. It's the reason is that we have a goal and objective, something. And the vision should be very simple.
And if somebody is concerned that their specific words are not there, I wonder how are you going to put the vision for the public comments? Is it going to be that what does it include, or only this?
I think what we'll do, we haven't really worked the details of that out
Okay.
yet, but I think we're generally going to ask people if it's acceptable and what's missing. Remember when Katie brought you those segments of the plan? It's the idea that we're going to have a guiding principle or a vision, whatever you want to call it, on each of those segments as well. So the more detailed definition, which hopefully we'll have some of by the time we get to those open houses, right? Because we're thinking we're going to try and do that, will also be out there.
Okay, as long as they will be there, then it may cover the concerns that some of the attendees have, because they don't see their word and they think that the public are going to interpret it like the arts is not included, the parks are not included, and they have.
If you would say offering opportunities for cultural and economic development. Cultural is
is art.
encompasses
It is
art.
art.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It also encompasses education.
All right, we're getting, go ahead.
I like the term assets that was in the first big picture. It talked about utilizing the existing assets. You could create new and utilize existing or something.
Well, but we have to stick, this is part of the rules of moving us forward. It's not, if we don't have assets listed, I mean, we can add, you know what I'm trying to do is I'm
Right,
trying to
I
keep
know,
pushing us
okay.
forward and not bringing us
Okay.
back.
I'm not sure we should use the phrase economic development twice in as fast as we're using it, because it's
Oh, yeah.
offering opportunities for cultural and economic development and utilizing prosperous economic development
go
seems
opportunities.
redundant.
It is redundant.
No.
Yeah.
You have to take all that out. Now we're good.
We could actually shorten it too, I think, and just, couldn't we just say, and play by creating a sustainable community, offering, it just seems like the multi-purpose destinations connected throughout the community, you know, multi-purpose destinations offering opportunities for culture and economic development,
And then foster
instead of
growth within
all the
entire West
connecting the
Valley.
community.
So how about if we did to be a highly desirable place, remember, we're going to modify with two more ideas here, two more other visions. So, to be a highly desirable place for all to live, work, and play by creating a sustainable community with destinations or multi-purpose destinations, we can leave that in there, connected throughout the opportunity, offering opportunities for cultural and economic development and that foster growth within the entire West Valley.
I've got a little trouble with, again, multi-purpose, because, I mean, a performing arts center has a variety of purposes, but it doesn't have all the purposes that the community is looking for. A ballpark has a variety of purposes, but doesn't
Well,
necessarily
but those are
make it-
multi-purpose, a variety.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but it's like saying is that the ballpark
It's gotta
has
be
to have a performing
Oh, I
arts
see what
center.
you're saying. Okay,
It's like, that's not what we want.
okay.
Leslie,
Gentlemen?
maybe throw in, this is a planning term, but instead of multi-purpose, use placemaking destinations. Creating a sustainable community with placemaking destinations.
Placemaking, you guys like?
How about various?
Various.
Various destinations.
Try Tony.
Well, but you could also put diverse.
Diverse.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, we're good? Can we go to the next one? We got a few more comments, go ahead.
I think one thing that we might be missing, I heard earlier, was about if we want this to be a tourism or work with other communities, maybe something about visit. I mean, live, work, and play, you'll find that in about 70% of the planning documents out there. It's such a generic planning term. Maybe we add visit in there as well. If we're going to have the ballpark, the Australia Falls Mall.
To encourage tourism,
Right.
Just add in the word visit.
tourists or
So you're saying
visitors.
live, work, visit, and play.
Play is visit.
Play, I think, of more like recreation. Like,
People for the people to do.
So do we want to leave play in, or do we want to take play out? I kind of like live,
Leave it
work,
in.
and
Play
visit.
in.
Leave it in?
Yeah, leave it.
Anything else? Okay. No, don't take it out. Bad. I was bad. Live, work, and visit. Live, work, visit, and play. My bad. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, next. Yeah.
Okay, I throw this out for discussion, instead of saying to be, we had create.
Okay. Anybody have problems with create?
I look create in the
But
middle.
then you have, and then what do you do with the other creating?
Creating, yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Good.
Then we need to take out the second
Yeah, the
create.
second-
You've got creating down below, so
By.
Play by creating.
Fostering. Fostering.
Foster's a good word.
Foster.
You want to foster being as a yes.
That's why we liked it.
Yeah, that's what we
live, work,
changed.
and play as a sustainable.
Okay.
But then you have fostered at the end.
How about create?
Encourage. Can we use encourage instead of the last foster?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just wanted to add about after growth, while, again, getting back to our agricultural history, after growth while preserving our agricultural history.
As long as they don't bring flies.
Anybody have problems with adding in while preserving our agricultural history? We good?
There's sort of a fundamental problem there, because the people who live in Pebble Creek, I would say, have a disagreement, because that was all agricultural. So if you want to preserve it, you're going to have to start limiting development opportunities.
Right.
So I'm just throwing that out.
I think just
Tells you our
preserving
history.
history, not necessarily
Yeah,
agricultural
knowledge.
history.
Yeah.
Our history. That would
I-
encompass
I'd like to see agriculture
everything where
in there
we've been.
somewhere. I think it's an identity, and I think we don't want the place totally built up. There were a lot of people at the visioning session that said, we don't want this to look like Scottsdale. And a lot of people moved out this way, for that reason. So, sustainability, agriculture, those kind of go hand in hand as well.
History and open spaces.
Yeah.
Because agriculture is open space. Would that work? And then we could more clearly define agriculture further down, or is agriculture something that has to be in the vision?
I like the open space.
I mean, just
We heard from one of the,
the people that advocate for agricultural to go away are the people living next to the farm fields when they're plowing and
Well,
picking cotton.
and I would say that, there's lots of ways you can preserve an agricultural history. You can do that through art, you can do it through small farming, you can do
Other
it
ways
through
to do it, right.
landscaping, so it doesn't have to definitely be,
Right,
keeping
right.
the farm in place.
That's fine.
Yeah, so history.
Could be community gardens, could be
Community
farmers
gardens,
markets.
I don't
could
think we
be-
need open
Okay,
spaces.
so we're
Variety of
good. Okay, I'm
things.
gonna be a little bit of a pusher now, and we move to the next one?
Get rid of open spaces.
Yeah.
If
Just
that
add
is what
open
you're
space.
saying is true.
Put in agriculture.
No,
Well,
don't
open spaces
put
could be the Estrella
agriculture there.
Mountains, it could be a preserving of agriculture in other ways. It could be the Bullard Wash, which came very high.
Open space, okay.
One voice.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the next vision. Anybody have a problem with that?
Yeah, I had my hand up kindly.
I'm sorry.
3 points. What were my points now? Sorry. A, I don't understand why we're doing any statement of the West Valley. This is a vision for Goodyear. If you come down to things, we are in competition with the other cities and areas in the West Valley, not trying to do their vision for them.
Okay, so hold on to A. Does anybody have any problems with taking out that last line out of the entire West Valley?
No.
Okay, yes?
Yeah, the reason that was in there originally, and that came from the synergy, was that we felt that we would have a better success by working in conjunction with other communities in the West Valley competing against the East Valley and everything. So if you take that out, now we're just, a city in the West competing with the others in the West, having a disadvantage with the East Valley. So it was trying to sort of get a synergy going between all the communities in the West.
So, go ahead.
But this is for the city of Goodyear, not for the West Valley.
well, you,
Partnership, it's a
In
partnership.
conjunction
But the
with
general
other,
development
or
plan.
I mean, our streets run into their streets.
Right.
But I think
There has
that one
to
of
be
the
some
things is we
coordination.
shouldn't really talk about another community in the Goodyear vision.
Yeah.
And another point is that Goodyear is part of a larger community.
yeah, we can't
So
be
why
naive to
don't we
think we're the only
say, while
ones.
preserving our history and open spaces,
Could we say collaborating?
and
with
collaborating with the larger community, instead of saying West Valley, or becoming a regional collaborator or a regional leader,
Collaborating with West Valley
Leader.
communities.
collaborating, do people have issues with that? Or we don't want to mention any, I need some guidance.
open spaces,
So do we want to take
collaborating.
out the West Valley period? Do we not want to mention another community in our vision?
We talked about it. The collaboration is in large respects, in some respects, in a large respect, it's not just the West Valley cities. We have in here, we have the military, so there's other kind of things that we have to work with if we want to grow this community. Not just the West Valley, not just the other West Valley communities, there's other agencies and entities and cities that we have to collaborate with.
Can we just say, okay, so what we're just saying in collaborate. So the idea would be preserving open spaces and collaborating, period.
Collaborating with the surrounding.
I think that makes it unclear.
Collaborating with
Within the
others,
region.
with other entities,
Entities.
with the surrounding area.
You don't collaborate.
Surrounding area.
Okay, who wants to leave in collaborating? Let's have a show of hands.
Region.
I was going to suggest something.
Go ahead, go.
Well, the suggestion was going to be and partnership collaboration, meaning you don't mention any what partnership collaboration is with whom, where, city, state, whoever.
How about if we said, okay, that's a great idea, what if we said, and maximizing partnerships and collaboration to achieve our goals? Would that work?
There you go.
I think so. I think so, yes. Because it's
Through maximizing.
Just say,
Begs the question, with whom?
Well, with anyone. Who
Well,
does
but
it matter?
if
We
we-
can achieve our goal. Let's achieve our
It
goal.
seems like we feel that if we don't have it in there, we aren't gonna do that, or we don't recognize that something
Well, I know,
important
I think
for
the
the
question
city.
is, it's a good question that you raised. The question is partnerships and collaboration important enough to this community to include in the vision? Yes.
I don't see how Goodyear can grow like we want to grow without taking our neighbors into consideration, our surrounding areas.
All right, so I'm sort of hearing.
Although we are the general plan for Goodyear.
Okay, so I'm sort of hearing a consensus that collaboration needs to stay?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say partnerships and collaboration, how do we say, and maximizing partnerships and collaboration with others, and others, period.
partnership and
period.
collaboration.
Can we leave it like that for now?
Yes, through maximizing partnerships and collaboration.
Yeah.
Too many ands.
Open spaces.
Yeah, take out open.
You just string it down there, aren't you, Chris?
That's right.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, works? Yes, it works.
Developmental opportunities.
Honestly, I think you're torturing. I'll be honest. All right, let's wordsmith later. We got the ideas in there? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna push us forward, okay?
Okay.
We're ready for the next vision? I'm pushing, okay.
Okay.
We're gonna pick up number 4.
Camel.
Here we go. We are a connected community. Our goal is to utilize our existing assets to foster the arts, entertainment, and recreation. We embrace sustainability and smart practices to build industries, educational institutions, and infrastructure to promote Goodyear and its sense of place as the center of the West Valley. Should I read it again? No? Okay. What do we think we need to fix here to pick up what we think is the gem in this vision?
Sustainable someplace, you need to put that word.
What's already in there? It's in there.
Okay.
Sustainable community.
Oh, there it is.
All right. So we've got sustainable. Anything else?
I like center of the West Valley.
Yeah, I like
because
sense
see
of-
that
sense
as
of
our-
place.
As our goal. So I think that's to become the center of the West Valley.
Okay, so how about create a highly desirable place that is the center of the West Valley where people take out for all to we'll have to put some periods in here. Let's make sure we get that.
Let's take a vote on the center of the West Valley.
Does anyone have any issues with, again, we're talking about the West Valley again, where we didn't want to talk about another community. So how are we feeling about saying the center of the West Valley? Folks liking that, not liking that?
I don't like the way it's entered in there.
Do we want to use the center of the West Valley, or do we feel that it's not, that's something we don't want to say that we've already said it by creating this amazing place?
I don't feel like it's needed.
Well, we just took it out. We want to take out the center of the West Valley?
I think so.
Anybody have any heartburn if I do that?
No.
No? Okay, take it back out. All right. So anything else that's missing in here from that? You want me to reread the vision again? Go ahead.
I think existing assets is important. I don't know where we could fit it in there, but I think it's important to know that we do have some things and we can't just look for new things. We have some stuff we got to make work for us instead of just relying on something new all the time.
Well, we can say
Recycle and
opportunities
reuse.
to build on existing assets and encourage growth.
Yeah.
Does anybody have an issue with that, using existing assets?
So isn't that part of being a sustainable community, though? So, I mean, this is a high-level vision statement, and we're going to get into that level of detail at some point in our plan.
That's a good point. So can we take it out then?
I think sustainable, I think it's more green.
Resource sustainable, building
It's a
sustainable.
pretty broad word.
Well, that's part of the statement, though, I would think.
Can we see it without track changes to see how large this is?
Well, we're encouraging growth, but if we've already got it, we're growing on what we got. But it just seems kind of redundant to me to have, we already got what we got, and we're trying to encourage growth on top of that.
I think it doesn't need to be there.
I agree.
Okay, if we take it out, who's gonna have heartburn?
Hey, if
couple
it's
people?
majority, I'm fine with it.
That's too big.
All right, guys.
I think one of the things that, again, I go back to the airport and Luke. Those are existing assets that I saw in reading some of the material that people would like to figure out how to redevelop or do whatever. So I think if you take out some of the existing asset kind of issues, you start to minimize, well, wait a second, Luke is important. It's not important to Goodyear, but important to all the other West Valleys, and so is Phoenix Goodyear, along with a few other things.
Anybody's mind kind of shifting?
So are the baseball diamonds, so are the Straya Regional Park, so is the Bullard Wash, although it's a big ditch now, but it's existing.
Anybody
It needs
feel?
to be enhanced. But we need to,
Okay. Anybody feel that, anybody feel that we need to keep it in based on what we just heard?
No, because of what they just said.
All right, so we feel that.
I mean, that's what I feel, but they feel different.
You could just simply, we say preserving our history. I mean, you could say
That's
preserving our
included there.
historical
The history that's
assets.
included. So
Just say
people feel that
preserving
we've
our
got it
historical
covered.
assets.
Yeah.
All right, let's go one more time. Anybody gonna have major heartburn if we pull it out? Same guys? Okay, guys, you made your case?
I'm just saying.
I mean, my only thought process, I mean, you made a good point about the sustainability, but to me, sustainability, when we talk about it, I see it as something that's, we're going to do it. It's like we're going to make things that are more sustainable, they work for us. But like he was saying, you've got things, even though it's not within the city limits, but Luke, but you have the ballpark. These are things that we have. And they might, like with the ballpark, it's like it kind of has a purpose. We've used it for a few other things, but can we make it work in other ways than what it was initially designed for, instead of just having it sit? Because it takes up a lot of space, having it just sit there and be like 1 month out of the year, this is what we do with it. Can we make it do something else for the city?
I think if you say preserving history and you keep that in without building on the existing assets, what you're saying is we're going to preserve the status quo of the Phoenix Goodyear Airport. We're not going to change it at all. We're just going to leave it the way it is. We want that airport to be what it is.
Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna give one more argument, and then we're gonna go forward.
If we use the word heritage, is there a word other than history that might encompass the things,
Heritage is a little bit more, I don't know. It's
our
But also you said
background, our heritage? I'm trying to
this is
think.
not going to be in a vacuum. You are going to describe it, what is inclusive or not inclusive.
There's more in the plan,
There will be
right?
more to come, and that's why I say at this point.
What if we just say, while preserving our assets, history, and open spaces?
Okay, anybody have any issues with that?
It's not about preserving
I like
them,
that.
is it? Is it about utilizing them?
We're okay with that?
It's not preserving, it's using them.
Okay, we're using our assets?
If we can't use
Preserving,
our
you don't really use them, you just sustain
How
them.
about, can I throw a suggestion here? Throw a suggestion.
Build on our assets,
Hold on.
or
Let me throw a suggestion at you. Create a highly desirable place for all to live, work, visit, and play by fostering a community with diverse destinations that are connected, or diverse connected destinations that offer opportunities for cultural and economic development, and foster and encourage growth while sustainably managing our assets, history, and open spaces.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good.
No?
I like that.
Well, you've
Except
changed,
for quick.
I've changed a lot.
you've changed the focus of some other things I thought we agreed upon.
So let's
How about if we say, instead of while preserving our assets and history, why don't we say recognizing our assets and history? That seems to me to take away any coloring of we just want to leave it alone,
building upon or moving.
And then we don't have to change
Unless
all
you're
the other stuff.
recognizing. Is anybody problem with recognizing?
No.
Going to cause anyone heartburn?
Acknowledging, recognizing.
No? Okay, there we go.
Good. It's well put.
Building on.
Okay, we're going.
No,
We're
but
recognizing. That's it. We're good. I'm being told the hundo.
you changed the whole thing above that.
No, we didn't change it. We just changed.
Yes,
the
you
word
did.
recognizing.
That are connected throughout the community. That's not the
No,
way
we're
it
not
was.
changing. What's saying that is exactly what was there, right? We didn't change anything above,
Yeah,
right?
that are.
No, it's not correct.
Katie, did you change anything that I wrote? Okay, there you go. Reverse destinations connected. Okay, so we're back
Okay,
exactly where we
thank
were.
you.
Okay. All right, next one. Told you I was going to be.
One more time.
You missed that, didn't you, Todd?
Yeah.
All right.
It works sometimes.
Sometimes you gotta do it, right? Okay. Remember, we're gonna bring this back, so, okay, here we go, last one. More than just a collection of neighborhoods, we are a connected, sustainable community. Our goal is to utilize our existing assets to foster the arts, entertainment, and recreation while we build industries, educational institutions, and infrastructure to promote Goodyear while collaborating with surrounding communities. Anything in there that we're missing?
No.
No, everything's
All right.
included.
Promote, but
Okay, so pretty much then, this is our vision at this point. I'm gonna read it again. We're gonna have to do a little ground taking here, I think. Create a highly desirable place for all to live, work, visit, and play by fostering a sustainable community with diverse destinations connected throughout the community, offering opportunities, I guess, offering opportunities for cultural and economic development, and I guess we need to say, and opportunities to foster growth while recognizing our assets, history, and open spaces through maximizing partnerships and collaboration.
Opportunities is in there too many times within one sentence.
So it's community.
Do we want to keep the first opportunities, or it's twice, right? Okay, so, thank you, Katie.
We leave it to an English major to wordsmithing that. We don't need to discuss it.
Talking about education.
Possibilities is a nice word.
Yeah.
Vision, potential, option.
Option. Yeah. That's some place.
How about if we said, to create a highly desirable place for all to live, work, visit, and play by fostering a sustainable community with diverse destinations, connected throughout the community, offering the potential for cultural and economic development.
That seems like you might.
Yeah, we can't.
what's wrong with opportunity?
Opportunities for cultural and economic development and potential to encourage growth.
Options.
Options?
Options.
Options, okay, and options. So that second opportunity is options. There?
4.
Option 4.
No, it's options is like maybe, maybe not.
Oh, you don't need to encourage options for
Like options. There's someone not liking
It's like
options.
maybe, maybe not.
Okay.
It's wishy-washy.
options that encourage options.
Expectation,
What about, you said potential before, would potential work or not?
potential,
No, it's kind of vague.
Too wishy-washy. That's the job of an English major, not roll
how about just say, how about encouraging? Encouraging growth while, and so it would be create a highly desirable place for all to live, work, visit, and play by fostering a sustainable community with diverse destinations connected throughout the community, offering opportunities for cultural and economic development, encouraging growth while recognizing our assets, history, and open spaces through maximizing
I like that.
partnerships and collaboration.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Anybody have a problem with that?
Did we miss anything with education?
There's two.
Education.
There's two communities too close together as well.
We've got two
Sustainable
comments.
community.
We've got two communities, and we've got a comment that we need to bring in education. Let's have a consensus as education education important enough to put in the vision?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Citizens
Just another comma in
Yeah, there.
community education, economic development. Oh, wait, opportunities for cultural education and economic development.
Shouldn't it be educational?
Yeah, put cultural, educational, and economic development.
The second community.
Okay, we're good? Okay, now we're going back to the two communities issue.
Where are they?
Up there.
Sustainable community with
and-
diverse
And throughout the.
destination connected throughout the community.
First community with city,
Yeah.
a sustainable city.
Yeah.
No, I'd do it the other way. We want to
Yeah.
create a community.
Yeah, right.
The things are throughout, to do that, are throughout the city.
Yeah,
Right.
right there.
Okay, that's good.
We good?
There you go.
Everybody take a read.
I'd like to find a way to transition better from encouraging growth while recognizing our assets and history and open spaces. And we've kind of, not that I want to take the topic out, but through maximizing partnerships and collaboration, what does that modify?
Why don't we just say end maximizing partnerships and collaboration? It's just another thing that it's part of our vision.
Yeah.
We can just do it for everything. Anything we can use a partnership or collaborate on,
We
we're on
go
board.
for
Is that true?
Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm
We
good.
have too many ands.
Too many.
We'll link to the ends and make
Or-
a comma list.
Yes.
Semicolon.
That's right.
More punctuation to come.
Yeah.
Place is kind of a soft word. Community would be good there, but we can't use it 3 times.
Urban landscape.
Everybody, do I hear anybody that's got any heartburn now? Anybody want to make any big changes, or you thinking this works for us?
Environment? Okay.
Any other comments?
Synergy, stay with that?
I have a comment.
Sure.
What about putting encouraging growth before offering opportunities? To
Say that again louder.
I'm sorry, encouraging growth before offering opportunities. So you say with diverse destinations connected through the city, comma, encouraging growth while offering opportunities or by offering opportunities for cultural, educational, economic development.
Create a highly desirable place for all to live, work, and visit, and play by encouraging growth.
No, keep on going. But if I leave it as is,
A sustainable community,
with diverse
destinations,
connected throughout the city, what did I say?
Encouraging.
Encouraging growth
By
by
offering or through
offering.
offering.
Yeah.
Because all of those things are growth. They're not necessarily separate than growth.
Now we have
Oh,
too
you
many
have already
encouragement.
No, but then you take it out of
encouraging.
the bottom.
Right, and then get rid of the other, yeah.
okay, and while recognizing our assets that way? Okay, everybody
Yeah.
read it?
Yeah.
Take it out. I like it.
We're good?
I think that's
Good.
close to what we're
All right, give yourselves a hand, that was a major job. Okay,
Is Synergy actually going to stay on as the title? Is Synergy staying on as the title, or?
well, we could discuss retitling it. Do you guys want to
just a
retitle, or do you want to stick with Synergy?
Oh, no, don't.
Good year vision. Yeah.
Big picture.
The big picture.
Katie has told us our general plan vision is, we're not going to have a title, because it's going to be called the general plan vision.
Yeah, it's, ambitious.
All right.
Katie's plan.
Thank you all. Great work. So,
All right, I know it's getting late,
Yes.
but you took a lot of time, so. I just want to quickly run through our project website. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to go to the website yet. but it's goodyearaz.gov/Goodyear2025, and it is on your magnet. You can also get to it by going to About Us, Major Projects, and then Goodyear 2025. This is our main page. Then this is the main page of our document, and the picture flips between different pictures. And then we have some information about the Parks and Transportation Plan haven't really officially launched, but once they do, all 3 plans are going to be presented to the community as one effort of Goodyear 2025, all 3 of these plans. So I'm trying to get hot topics on here too, so I just have on there that we just had the visioning workshop. And then if you go to the General Plan Committee page, I'm putting information about each of your meetings and kind of holding that here. So if you go to this agenda minutes, it just takes you straight to the regular agenda page for all the city committees. The link next to that are, so I gave you a bunch of handouts tonight, so I'm going to have those up there. So if you lose something or just members of the public want to make sure they get handouts, or if somebody wasn't here, they can get a hold of those. And then I hope you all saw the meeting summary I sent out. And so we'll have those meeting summaries, which just give a little bit more information and pictures besides the minutes, which are a bit dry. So back to the main page, then public participation. This is what I really want to talk to you about. And internally, we're talking a lot about public participation and how to use the internet and social media to get our public participation really going. For right now, this is what we've got. But we do have this commenting tool. So I've got 2 questions up here right now. And I expect to see a comment from every single one of you on one of these questions. And if you have ideas for questions, Leslie and I just came up with a couple right away, but send me ideas. If there's something, hey, if we're going to do this, I want to know from the community about this. But answer these questions. I think it just takes a while to get, somebody has to be first and just get on there and talking. But when you click on this, let your voice be heard, it'll take you here. You have to sign up. So here's me. So I'm, pretending to comment here. I love living near the Estrellas. That's what I love about Goodyear, being a resident of Goodyear. And so you can comment, and then it's kind of like Facebook. You can like or dislike, and then you start earning points. So maybe I'll have prizes for who has the most points at the next meeting. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not opposed to bribery. And then you'll see there's some other parts of the page that haven't been fully developed. We are going to have separate pages for the Parks Plan and Transportation Plan. The Documents page doesn't have a whole lot, but that's where we will start putting the draft chapters so everyone can get to those. I'll probably be putting the vision up there right now. So just, get on there, please, before the next meeting. Poke around. Send me comments and ideas. Hey, I'm personally looking. I know like Phoenix and Scottsdale have some really cool sites for their plans up right now. If you know of other communities, or even not a project plan site, but just, I really like this website and you can get some great ideas from it. Just, I am open. Let me know, please. I think there's a huge opportunity out there to use the internet and social media. This is all new to us. City of Goodyear just got our first Facebook and Twitter account a little while ago, so we're kind of new to this, but I think that Goodyear residents are going to be excited to participate online. So I did want to just then give you, and I think I'm going to have this as kind of an ongoing item on the agenda. I just want to hear, and if you want to tell me offline rather than in the big group, but if you have something you think will bring ideas to everybody, I just want to hear, especially ideas like, hey, there's this great community meeting upcoming, and I don't know if you knew about that, or, Estrella neighborhood's having this great thing, and maybe you didn't know about that. So public participation ideas, future possible agenda item ideas. I was talking to Jose about that earlier. So this is your time. So does anybody have something they'd like to share with the group, something that's upcoming, you really want to make sure everybody knows about it?
Just a question, really. The social media is a great idea, but even just going to places that people frequent, whether it be the YMCA or wherever else in the community, grocery stores, whatever. How are we utilizing our whole city to really get the word out, more than just this committee and your staff? Is there a way to involve, Chamber of Commerce or other people as well?
I haven't done anything yet. this is pretty much, you've heard what I've pretty much done, so I think that's a great idea. I mean, I know the mayor just the other day was saying she knew of this moms group, and wouldn't it be great if we made a presentation to a moms group? And I think that might be where some of you guys come in, is that if some of you are willing to talk to groups, and I'm especially in the beginning willing to come with you, but I'm only one person. But if you know about groups like that, like Leslie said, we can basically put kind of like a package together for you, so it's really easy for you to just even say, go to our website and get more information. Here's the next upcoming meeting. Come if you're interested. So we can help you get information out there. But I mean, it'd be so easy to make flyers to post at the YMCA and things like that.
And one of the reasons I think you were all selected for this committee is not only do you represent the neighborhood, but that you represent the diversity of the community. And so the idea is to leverage your connections to spread the word. The slideshow that Katie gave you at the first meeting is a great introduction to the general plan. We can give you that. The magnets, student matter HOA meetings, we can give you flyers. And it's just, the way, we gave out how many door hangers? 56,000 door hangers. We got 42 people. So you have to touch a lot of people.
How many doorknobs and
you got to touch a lot of people to get one to come. And so that's why we're on this committee too, is to leverage all of your connections. So it's a great question. Thank you, to make people more and more aware of the plan.
And on the magnets thing, I have some stacks around here, but I ordered a lot of these. I got a great deal, so I ordered a ton of magnets. I mean, right now, tonight, I mean, our office is right over there. We will run and get you some. But I think, I hope the magnets are just a little tool that it's so easy for you guys to grab a stack of these and put them in your community centers or your church, or if you're going to an HOA meeting or a mom's group or something, take a stack and take them with and tell people, because go ahead.
As you bring that up, I don't know if anybody knows, I've never done this, but you know how they have those kind of group mailboxes that are metal. Can we put a bunch of those on the mailboxes that are on our streets or on our neighborhoods? People put up like Lost Dog or
I don't know.
I don't know if that's against the law or not. I don't.
I'll ask around, but it's probably owned by the post office. So, but yeah.
One of the things we talked about, I think, the last meeting was maybe even putting up something in the post office, because a lot of people actually go to the post office, whether it's the magnets or a sign, for more information. A lot of people frequent the post office.
Yes. No, that's great to get some easy info.
I spoke to the owner of Keller Williams. He has one in Goodyear and several all over. But anyway, he found out that I was on the committee, and he had requested to have somebody go in and kind of talk to the realtors. I don't know if that's something that we can do. I think he has 200, and they have this big meeting in January. And what he wanted was for them to give us ideas, because they're trying to sell the city. So I don't know if that's something that...
Talk to me after the meeting and get me the contact information. Those are exactly the opportunities that we're looking for, and I'd love to hear. But definitely grab some magnets if you're going to an HOA meeting, going somewhere, and we'll go get more. And stop by the office. I will print flyers for you, do anything. We just need your help. And I think, over the holidays, it might be a little hard because people are going to be distracted. But definitely getting ready for those late January open house meetings, I think those are, asking everyone for a whole Saturday for visioning workshop is a little difficult, but getting people to these open house meetings I think is going to be really great, and we hope to have an online component with the open house meetings too. So, and yeah, that's all.
Is everybody going to the website, the city website, to get information? If you're not, you're missing out. And since we're plan committee members, the more we know about our existing city, the better we can plan for the future. Let me just hit a few highlights that I printed off this week. One was the expanded library set to debut in 2013. That's pretty fast, and that's going to be right here at the Veneta Business Park. The library is going to expand from 1,800 square feet to 6,700 square feet. So that's a nice expansion for the city. The next thing is Franklin Pierce University. which they're moving in as we speak while the construction's going on. And they're going to occupy 15,000 square feet of this complex, and they're going to pay rent to the city of Goodyear. So that's going to help pay for the building. And then last is the modern 911 call center. I don't know if you've heard about this, but our present call center is in what was once a garage for the old Goodyear fire station, leaving little room for modern equipment or expansion of workstations. But they're going to be breaking ground right here on a $3.3 million facility in December, and the work's supposed to be completed by the end of 2013. So we're expanding our 911 call center. So there are things going on in the city, and I want everybody, if you get an opportunity to go to the city website, you can find out so much about what's going on right now. We can incorporate that into the future plan. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You do.
Estelle does, seconded by Jose. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
That was fun. See you next month. Isn't the second Tuesday, right?
I don't think we'll all run 2.5 hours. We just have to get off.
Pretty soon we'll have Oh, yeah, we'll have sauce.
The city can be more stringent than the state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we might be able to fine-tune it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Leslie, is it in 4?
Yeah.